Welcome to WEWIN New. A California Highway Patrol officer captured incredible footage of a huge landslide in Fresno County. The massive dust storm that killed power grounded flights in Phoenix area.
Connor, we gotta back up!
New tornado footage shows funnel near fields.
Oh, building just exploded. Watch out for the debris!
A gruesome scene of floodwaters pouring into the city, instantly destroying the walls of residential buildings facing the streets. A major flood occurs with fast-flowing, turbid water sweeping away everything in its path. Preparation, such as building strong structures and having an emergency evacuation plan to minimize flood damage, the terrible destructive power of floods. Extreme rain collapses wall onto passing cars in South Korea.
5 or 6 inches.
The snowstorm that struck the Gulf Coast, Louisiana.
That's all I need for the weather road. Yeah, I think that news vehicle might be stuck. Okay, copy that. Take out the truck out.
The storm and strong winds caused trees to fall. A huge section of cliff collapsed, creating a thick cloud of dust that covered the entire area. you see signs of a landslide, quickly move to a safe place and stay away from the dangerous area. Massive devastation due to heavy rains in Mandi of Himachal Pradesh, India. The flood came and broke the windows and rushed into the house to the screams of the homeowner. Collapse of massive Arecibo telescope. One of the scariest landslide visuals coming from the Dirang Tawang Road in Arunachal Pradesh. Earthquake tremors hit a rooftop swimming pool in Bangkok. A massive avalanche struck suddenly the moment a glacier collapsed in the Tian Shan Mountains in Kyrgyzstan.
Oh dear God.
The moment the aurora borealis dances against the backdrop of erupting volcanoes. Both phenomena attract tourists flocking to this tiny island nation to admire them. Reporter filming under the terrible power of Typhoon Guangdong. A 7.0 earthquake in Alaska. Landslide suddenly crushed the digger. A truck loaded with gas cylinders caught fire, causing a large and widespread fire. The incident highlights the dangers of accidents involving flammable materials such as gas. Landslides, flash floods, highways submerged overnight, even the New South Wales highway to Manly washed away. In Izhevsk, there was a partial collapse of the wall on the 19th floor of a residential building. Terrifying moment, a house, still intact, falls into the Yellowstone River. La Palma Island has been affected by the Cumbre Vieja volcano, which has been erupting and spewing lava for nearly a month. Snowboarder escapes avalanche while descending mountain in Turkey. A volcanic eruption is creating mesmerizing scenes in Iceland, but also causing concern. It could disrupt air traffic to and from Iceland. Unexpected rock landslide. Whale explosion as powerful as biological weapon. Volcano shoots powerful lava jets. Pressure cooker suddenly exploded. A major landslide in Turkey. Footage from inside a home destroyed by an EF4 tornado. The scene of a terrible fire, the flames still not completely extinguished. Firefighters escaped dramatic roof collapse during blaze. The dense fog caused the car to collide with the parked car. Always be extremely careful when participating in traffic. In Talitsa, a fire and explosion at a gas station. The incident occurred during gas filling at the Sverdlovsk regional station. Gangu truck on fire. A train carrying nitric acid reacted with another substance, causing a strong exothermic reaction and red sulfur fumes in Ukraine. Be aware of the dangers associated with the transport of dangerous goods. Black smoke billowing from a wooden house, a large explosion with flames coming from windows and roof. Recognize the danger signs and take appropriate precautions. Barge collapses during loading on Danube near Smederevo, Serbia. Towed RV bursts into flames on I-84, snarls traffic. The cracking of car windows shows how powerful the shock wave of an explosion is. The tanker truck exploded, white smoke billowed out, and then caught fire. Pay attention to wind direction in large fires. Along East Coast, life stops for Sandy. Signs of trouble had surfaced. A failed pressure test, unusual readings, but they were misread or ignored. Then, at 9:45 p.m., disaster struck. A violent explosion ripped through the rig.
This is what a burning rig looks like.
For 2 days, the Deepwater horizon burned. Then it sank, leaving behind a far more insidious threat. With the rig gone, the oil well located nearly a mile underwater was left open. Crude oil began pouring into the Gulf of Mexico. Thousands of barrels per day. The sea turned slick and dark. For 87 days, the oil flowed freely, unstoppable, as engineers and scientists scrambled to contain it. It wasn't until mid-July that they finally managed to seal the well using a custom-built cap. By then, an estimated 4.9 million barrels of oil had spilled, one of the largest oil spills in history. Fisheries shut down, beaches were closed, families who lived off the sea, fishermen, shrimper, tour guides, saw their way of life vanish overnight. The Deepwater Horizon oil spill was one of the worst environmental disasters in U.S. history. On the night of April 20, 2010, the sea was calm in the Gulf of Mexico. A massive oil rig called the Deepwater Horizon floated quietly far off the coast of Louisiana.
Looking at the inside of this derrick, 210 feet of steel pipe.
The rig, operated by Transocean and leased by BP, was working on sealing a deep underwater oil well, one of the deepest in the world at over 13,000 feet below the surface. The crew on board, who had spent years working in the dangerous world of offshore drilling, were nearing the end of the job. They were preparing to seal the well and move on. Some were already talking about heading home, but deep beneath the waves, pressure was building. The East Palestine train derailment on February 3, 2023 stands as one of the most significant environmental disasters in recent U.S. history. Norfolk Southern Freight Train 32ND derailed near the Ohio-Pennsylvania border in East Palestine. Of the 150 rail cars, 38 derailed, including 11 tank cars carrying hazardous materials such as vinyl chloride, ethylene glycol, butyl acrylate, and isobutylene. The derailment led to a massive fire and the release of toxic chemicals into the air, soil, and waterways, prompting evacuations and raising serious health and environmental concerns. Investigations by the National Transportation Safety Board and the Federal Railroad Administration revealed that the derailment was caused by an overheated wheel bearing on a hopper car. Hot bearing detectors recorded rising temperatures, but the spacing between detectors, approximately 20 miles, was insufficient to provide timely warnings. In the days following the derailment, concerns grew over the stability of the vinyl chloride tank cars. Norfolk Southern, citing the risk of explosion, conducted a controlled vent and burn of 5 tank cars on February 6, 2023. This action released a large plume of toxic smoke, including dioxins and other hazardous compounds, into the atmosphere. The environmental impact was extensive. Contaminants entered local waterways, including Sulphur Run and Leslie Run. Pollutants from the derailment were deposited via wet weather events across 16 states, reaching as far as southern Canada and North Carolina.
That's the best thing I can describe it as. It's the closest thing I've smelled to it.
Investigations followed. BP was found grossly negligent. The disaster, it turned out, wasn't just an accident. It was the result of poor decisions, cost-cutting, and ignored safety warnings. BP eventually paid over $60 billion, 0 cents in fines, lawsuits, and cleanup costs. Other companies, including Transocean and Halliburton, also faced penalties. The sea is still healing. Some scars remain unseen in the depths, or hidden in the DNA of the creatures who survived. For many, the Gulf of Mexico is a reminder of how human ambition, when paired with recklessness, can bring nature to its knees. The US government overhauled offshore drilling regulations. New safety rules were introduced. Blowout preventer, meant to be the last line of defense, were redesigned. The Deepwater Horizon spill was a tragedy, but it also became a turning point. It showed the world that technology, no matter how advanced, must be used with care, and that we all share the responsibility of protecting our planet. In In the aftermath, the government pledged to implement comprehensive reforms aimed at overhauling safety protocols and ensuring strict adherence to hazardous material handling procedures. These measures are intended to prevent similar tragedies and restore confidence in the nation's industrial safety standards. All employees, especially those involved in handling dangerous materials, should receive certified hazardous materials training, including proper response during leaks or accidents. It underscores the necessity for continuous evaluation and improvement of safety protocols to protect workers and the public from preventable disasters. On June 27, 2022, a crane was loading pressurized chemical containers onto the Hong Kong-flagged vessel Forest 6, destined for Djibouti. During the operation, a cable lifting a container filled with approximately 25 to 30 tons of chlorine gas snapped, causing the container to fall and rupture upon impact. This released a dense cloud of toxic yellow gas at the port of Aqaba, Jordan. Chlorine gas, commonly used for water purification and industrial processes, is highly toxic. Inhalation can lead to severe respiratory issues, including pulmonary edema and acute respiratory distress syndrome. The inquiry revealed gross negligence and systemic failures in safety protocols. Specifically, the cable used to hoist the chlorine container was rated for 8.6 tons, significantly less than the container's actual weight of approximately 28.9 tons. This mismatch led to the cable's failure and the subsequent disaster. Further findings indicated that critical safety procedures were either inadequately followed or entirely absent. Tasks involving hazardous materials were delegated to untrained personnel, and there was a notable absence of safety attendants during the loading process.
شايف معلم لوين بلشت توصل وريحتها لا تطاق. هيا بلشت توصل لهون.
The Aqaba gas leak tragedy exposed deep-rooted issues within Jordan's port operations, particularly concerning safety standards and regulatory compliance. Cleanup efforts have been ongoing, with Norfolk Southern spending over $1 billion, 0 cents, on environmental response and remediation. The disaster prompted calls for enhanced rail safety regulations.
Okay, so here we are in Walker's backyard here in East Palestine. I'm going to give you an idea of what they're doing right here. So these are all train cars right behind me. And as you can see, they're just chewing them up.
One major takeaway is the urgent need for improved infrastructure and monitoring systems, particularly the deployment of more closely spaced hot bearing detectors to identify mechanical issues before they escalate. Stronger regulations, increased oversight, and community involvement in recovery efforts are essential to rebuilding trust and ensuring accountability. The lessons from East Palestine serve as a wake-up call for the entire rail industry and policymakers to prioritize safety, transparency, and environmental stewardship to prevent similar tragedies in the future. A car crashed into a Cape Coral canal, and then the rescue of the driver. The driver is stuck in the car for a few minutes as he tries to get around the deployed airbags. There are no reports of injuries. A biker lost control of the steering wheel while going through a curve and slipped and fell right in front of a car going in the opposite direction. The height restriction barrier was knocked off by an unlicensed truck carrying an excavator, then hit right on a passing car in China. A photographer capturing the high-speed action at a rally event had a near miss when a rally car lost control and came within inches of striking them. Chaos erupts at a winery in Sicily as a massive red wine cistern suddenly ruptures, sending a flood of deep crimson liquid gushing through the facility. A shocking video captures the horrifying moment a gas warehouse in Raqqa, Syria, erupts into a massive explosion, sending a towering fireball into the sky. A massive explosion ripped through a gas station on a highway in Russia, erupting into a fiery inferno that looked like something straight out of a Hollywood action movie. Rainy weather, slippery roads, many curves, and heavy trucks are unfavorable conditions for drivers. Just a small mistake can lead to a situation like this. Slow down and check both sides before exiting a small alley onto a street. This is a corner that's been nicknamed Devil's Corner in Lockport, New York. Maintain a safe following distance, avoid sudden braking or sharp turns, and stay alert, everyone. It happened on the corner of Wentworth Avenue and Banks Avenue in Sydney, Australia. A container truck drifts downhill, and the truck bed causes serious damage to oncoming vehicles. Driving in dark and snowy conditions is extremely dangerous. Increase your following distance and use your headlights even during light snowfall. An incident happened at a gas pump in Udgir, India. This can happen anytime, so be careful. A scary moment occurred in Honduras when a school bus suffered a brake failure, hurtling down the road. What could have been a devastating tragedy miraculously ended with everyone unharmed. A vehicle appears to have lost control while speeding in the right-hand slow lane on the highway, posing a hazard to nearby drivers. On April 30, 2024, a bridge under construction collapsed in South Korea. In the root cause of this incident, mostly chance to address the operator error in the report. Luckily, the woman was able to crawl out and the truck stopped in time before causing serious consequences. Another near miss in Vietnam from debris from Typhoon Yagi. I wonder if that person is aware how close a call it was. On July 30, 2020, a huge explosion occurred in Fukushima, Japan. A driver had a close call when their car caught fire while driving down Highway 99 in Sacramento. Let's see the devastating mudslide in Hakone, Japan. Vehicles almost got swept away by a tornado near Dongming, Shandong province in China on July 5, 2024. A drunk man driving an agricultural tractor with harrows caused a collision with parked cars. Fortunately, nobody was in the car. My two best assumptions were either that he was on his phone or paying attention to the ambulance.
Хорошо, что это не мы. Все, поехали. Поехали.
A girl sets out for a test drive, but things take a terrifying turn when she loses control of the vehicle. The three workers only became aware of the train just 3 seconds before it reached them. One worker spotted the danger and shouted to the others to get out of the way with just a second to spare. Ghosts is real. Some say they're just tricks of the mind, while others swear they've encountered something beyond explanation. Get ready, because after this, you might just start questioning what's really lurking in the dark. The guard receives a person who entered, but later he will see that it was a ghost. In this eerie footage, an unexplained figure appears out of nowhere, moving in ways that defy logic. A white speck of light that moves a little. What is the camera picking up? Intense rainfall in Peru triggered a massive mud flow, destroying homes, farmland, and infrastructure. This is a 20-year anomaly.
Mire la cantidad de agua. Esta es la cantidad de agua, miren señores. Cantidad de agua. Vienen los palos, las ramadas adelante. De esta manera está bajando el agua en el río Tierras Blancas.
The lightning struck a tree right in front of the cameraman. It was crazy. No one was hurt, fortunately. Have you ever seen anything like this, as what can only be described as massive mud hail rains down in Arkansas? The delivery driver ended up getting the fright of his life. In China, a city in Henan, China has been flooded after getting a year's worth of rain in 8 hours. The finish line is here. Don't forget to give us a like button and share your road encounters in the comments. And don't miss the video on the right side of the screen. See you soon.